And what you'll see in the app is that you'll go to the main site, you'll see groups. Make it bigger. You see here in the middle where it says groups, you'll take that, and that's where we have the documents loaded. Oh, that's where we have the documents loaded, so the document we'll be looking at for today will be there. mdw nTr adechura you can go your family now. So as you're doing that, let's go ahead and get started because time is running. So this is the class on mdw nTr. How did you hear about the class, the study group rather?
So I received an invitation through the student mail.
To the student mail, wonderful, wonderful. Both of you.
He sent it to me.
And what made you interested? What made you think, wow, this is something that, let me check it out?
Well, I've always believed that there is more to Africa than what we know. So I've always been interested in the tech. That's what
Very good. And you? Just caught your attention. You said, wow, the flyer looks nice. Let me join up for this. Okay. That's good. So this is a journal called Archaeology, and this is an issue that was released in 1999. And what you're looking at is the very first occurrences of writing anywhere in the world. The very first occurrences of writing. Now, if you don't know how to read it, you'll say, well, this looks like a dog and a bird or something like this. But if you are actually familiar with what we are going into, and you know, we'll get into it for this class, you'll come to see that what we even regard as letters that we write with today are derived from these very first writing symbols. And I'll show you an example of that. So in a class that we teach called Language Proficiency here at African Studies, you know, when you are going to, you know, grammar school, primary school, you're first learning to read and write, and they'll tell you this is the letter A. Now, did they tell you why this shape has to be the letter A? Why is it shaped like this? You didn't learn that, right? Mostly because the people who are teaching you probably didn't know. Someone told them it's just this. The letter A is this. And if you ask a question, you get a smack, right? But the letter A is derived from the letter A in the language that we'll be learning today. And the language was called, the written language was called mdw nTr. mdw nTr, right? So these are the first two words that you are going to learn how to write down, right? So I hope you have pen, paper, or you can do it on your phone if you have, you know, the drawing in there. But this is where you see the original letter. It's actually a type of vulture, and the vulture standing, eventually it became this in Greek because the Greeks came to learn from the black people, and then it derived to this in Latin, and then this is what you're using today. Now, if someone gave you this, then you could understand why the letter A is shaped the way it's shaped. You understand? But again, the ones who started the education system here, they didn't want you to know about these various things, because if you did learn about it, would you agree to colonization? He said, we taught you how to write. Will we agree to be under your heel for you to take out our gold and our people and so forth and so on? Maybe not. We'll continue. This is ba, ba, ba. It's another type of bird. You see it, this came into Greek as there is the beak, and then there's a crest on the chest. So when you see the B shaped like this, what it's actually representing is the beak and the crest on the chest. Eventually later Greek it became like this, until Latin like this. I hope you're following along, because all of this is just background information. We haven't really gotten into the language yet, but this is so you can understand what's going on. We can go through this. The letter D, for example, and I'll hop around, but the letter D, what it is the hand, like this, because this was the word for hand, D. So when you see this, it will help you to understand how it changed in Greek, how it became this in Latin. Now, a lot of people would write a lot better. Their writing would be a lot better if they knew that they invented writing itself, right? And again, these are the very first instances of writing in the entire world, before Mesopotamia, before anywhere else. And again, this is coming from Archaeology Journal. It's not, my name is Dr. Obadile Kamban. I should have introduced myself. But it's not Dr. Kamban just telling you, oh, he wants it to be this way. No, this is what the evidence is. So the question becomes, who kept this evidence from you? This is an internationally renowned journal. We have an archaeology department there, but they don't teach this in archaeology. because the people who taught those archaeologists had to make sure that we wouldn't know about these things. Because if we did know about these things, we'd have a very different Ghana, we would have a very different Africa, right? But again, these are just some of the things that we will come to, because what we will do is we'll go into the alphabet so you can see where all of this is coming from. Now the text that I'm uploading for you is entitled How to Read Egyptian Hieroglyphs, right? But again, when we say Egyptian, the people themselves did not call themselves Egyptian. They called themselves Kemetiu, and the root word Kem means black. You say Tiu, you're talking about people. It will be the same thing as saying Abibifor. For those, I don't know if you speak Chi, but if you say Abibifor, the Bibi means black, it means African. Then the 4 lets you know it's talking about plural human beings. That's what the Tiu does in this language. So the Kem is the root, it means black, and then the Tiu. Now let's actually go to, and this is another text that I'll share with you, which is a dictionary. And you'll notice something very interesting about the translations. So here you see Kem. Kem. I can make it bigger for you because I'm not sure how well it's showing up for you. So Kem. Now in the language of mdw nTr you have these, what you may think, well, these are symbols, but in them, some of them have 1 sound value, some have 2 sound values, some have 3 sound values. What did I just say? Right, very good. So this particular one has 2 sound values. Kem by itself is Kem, right? When you think about chemistry, right, you wonder, well, how come chemistry is called chemistry? It's coming because of this one. And what it's actually showing you is a burnt piece of wood. It's telling you that there's a chemical reaction that goes on when wood burns, right? So this one is a burnt piece of wood, and anytime they want to refer to something black, usually this is what they will use for it, Kem. And again, this is the word black as an adjective. Now this second one has a sound value of so that is it 1, 2, or 3 sound values? Just 1. Right? So just the sound by itself. So this is added on to the that's already here for this one, because this is Kem, then you add the to it, Kem. Very good. And again, when you see this one, it's telling you that whatever this word is, it's an abstract idea. It's something that is not tangible. So whenever you see this, it's a rolled up scroll. This means I don't know what's in the scroll. It's not something that I can touch. It's an idea. Right? So the idea is blackness. If I say touch blackness itself, you may be able to touch something that's black, but if I say just touch blackness, it's a concept, it's an idea, right? So any abstract concept, you have this. Now we come here, what they translate as Egypt is better translated as the black land, meaning land of those who are black, right? What they refer to as Egyptians is the same thing. So again, you have the black, then you have a man, a woman, plural. And again, what they're saying is black people. Now, I'm not sure, have any of you heard the word Kemet before? You've heard Kemet, wonderful. Have you heard the word Kemet before? No? Why do you think you haven't heard the word Kemet before? Okay. What do you think?
Well, I have a friend who also is so interested in this thing. And has been sending me some PDFs about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a true friend. That's a true friend, not the one who says, "Okay, let's go get drunk." No, that's your enemy. This is a true friend who's sharing knowledge and information with you. So yeah, you know, there's a reason most people, they know the word Egypt. Even they'll say ancient Egypt, but the people themselves didn't say ancient Egypt. So the question then becomes, how come nowadays they're trying to get this ancient Egypt, ancient Egypt, ancient Egypt? What did the people themselves call the land? They call the land the same thing as when we say Abibimain, right? And they call themselves black people, right? I hope you're following. Now for today, let me see if this was uploaded for you. So when you downloaded the app, were you able to go? So now you'll just need to register your username, and once you do, you can access the group section. Once you access the groups, the document that we're reading for today, and this will be our textbook for the study group, right? By the end of this course, you will be able to read all of these things. Anything you don't know how to read, you'll know how to find out how to read it, because you'll know, oh, just go to the dictionary and see this. Oh, this is how the grammar is. I can understand what's being written, right? So really the idea is to give you the tools for you to be able to use to read anything that your ancestors wrote down. Because it's not enough to just say, okay, our black ancestors invented writing, then we pat ourselves on the back and then we go home. We say, well, what did they write down? You understand? So if you write something for your teacher, you've written your exam, don't you want your teacher to read it? You think it's pretty important, right? Now, what if I write something and I carve it into stone, like this? What if I take a stone that weighs 1 ton, as much as a car that you see in the parking lot, and I drag it down miles, 30, 40, 50 miles, and then I carve 1 foot deep into that stone, because of how important this is, that I want you, my descendants, to read it? I hope you're following. So don't you think, as much as you want someone to read something that you just wrote in pencil on a piece of paper, don't you think these people, your own ancestors who's carved into stone, so you will be able to read about them, don't you think they think it's pretty important? So now we're going to live up to what they asked us to do, which is to learn the wisdom that they had at that point in time. Okay. So this is the cover, and you'll see something here up top that's similar to what you saw here. What is similar here? This one is similar to what? This one? So now when we're saying first one, last one, there's something you need to know about this language, and it's coming out right now, that it can be read from left to right. It can also be read from right to left. And it can also be read from up